right, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of this. We know that you guys really trekked through a lot. Like Brad said, I think we knew. When you come here, when you really push it, when everything's holding you back, you come here and you're intent to worship the Lord shows up. The same thing's going to happen here in the earlier service. We just chilled. We mellowed it, and we allowed the Lord to move. So allow the Lord to move on you today. Let's do what we need to do to get ourselves to the rest of this week. Let's go.
Somebody hit the circuit breaker out there and reset the whole board.
Everything that you have done, we are continuing to do, and you will too in our future, Lord. Allow us to be sensitive to you today. Let us not be distracted by the things that continue to come against us, who are trying to halt us either today or this week. Allow us to be focused on you during this time, Lord, so that we can sing the praises that you so greatly deserve. Allow us to show the love you so that you will show love to us. Love on us. Raise us up, Lord, and allow us to enjoy everything you are, and allow us to show, Lord, what the true meaning of living a life for you is. Lord, I want you to know that, Lord, without you, we are nothing. Without you, Lord, we are unable to do this, Lord. We are no longer focused on the size and the outcome. Instead, Lord, we are focused on worshiping you and putting you first. We know as we continue to do that, Lord, that you will shine down on us. As Pastor Brad says, Lord, as we give back to you what is rightfully yours, you will continue to love on us and give us that blessed life. Lord, continue to give us a blessed life, a blessed day, and a blessed service. We love you so greatly, Lord, and without you, we are nothing, and we want to acknowledge that now, Lord, that you are our everything. Thank you for everything that you have done, Lord. Continue to love on us this day. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
Your kindness fills my life. somebody tell them they look pretty. Yeah, you look pretty out there. I see you. Thank you, Jesus. Give me eyes to see more of who you are. May what I behold still my anxious heart. Take what I have known, break it all apart. You, my God, greater still. Sing it again. Give me eyes. Give me eyes to see more of who you are. May what I behold still my anxious heart. Take what I For that promise. There's nothing that we could ever do, nowhere we could ever go. That you wouldn't be there still. You wouldn't chase us down. You wouldn't find us. And there's nothing that could separate us from your love. What a love that is. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Higher than the mountains that are famous,
worthy. I'm telling you, I've practiced it, I believe it. When you worship, the enemy is being defeated. When you're worshiping, victory is on its way. And when you ever stand up and sing how worthy God is, I'm telling you, you don't even know what you're doing. You got to quit looking at the problems, quit looking at the chaos, and start standing in the throne room of God. Start getting in the presence of God and just singing, you're worthy. You're worthy. My bills are due, but you're worthy. My marriage is falling apart, but you're worthy. I don't feel well, but you're worthy. But you're worthy. But you're worthy. You don't even know how heaven will back up what you're doing. When you stand in the presence of God and cry out to God and remind Him how worthy He is, heaven gets on your side. We don't do that enough. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. We see your worth. We see your goodness. You're worthy. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. You may be seated. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. You're a worthy God. I'm so thankful that you guys are here. There's a lot of people that couldn't make it. I know the roads are not the best, but you're here. I think I have this idea of having church. If it's a Sunday, we're open for church. I think every Sunday. And we were about to go, because we should have had church last week. Dad and I are still trying to learn this. Who does what? Who says what? We're working out the kinks. And I took hindsight 2020, when the news is telling you, don't go on the roads. You don't go on the roads, but the news, they're liars. We should have had church. Chad called me this morning about 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't know who he said it was. He said, but there's a Christ community or whatever. They said, if it's Sunday, church is open. If you can make it, you come if you can. So I think that's kind of going to be our rule. Because when we showed up at church at 9, we didn't start till 9:30, and I told him, and Jesse said, did we get to sing the Mickey? And I said, sure. I said, but we'll go live on Facebook, and we'll just call this a rehearsal. Because when we show up at church at 8 o'clock in the morning and we get ready to bring the service at 9, and we're just kind of dinking around and getting ready for worship, the Spirit comes down. I'm telling you, I said this morning. He said, I inhabit the praises of my people. He just rolled out of bed drinking his coffee. He said, I think I hear somebody calling out my name. I want to see what that's about. And he said, oh my goodness, they're just having fun up there. But I like the way it smells. I like the way it sounds. I'm going to get down there and get a little piece of that. We're just here just messing. We're making fun of each other. Get it together, guys. Shut with my drums aren't working. All of a sudden, the Spirit just began to swell up. It's funny because I believe it happens to Jessie. Jessie's up here just kind of practicing, trying to get the right chords. All of a sudden, she's raising her hands. A couple of weeks ago, we were just in practice, and Colin's down here kind of starting to swing. I'm like, Colin, it's just practice right now. There's something that comes over you. They asked me to pray the benediction at this pastor's luncheon yesterday. And they said, are you prepared to pray the benediction? I said, I guess so. So they said, hey, come up and pray. And I grabbed that microphone, and right when it happened, a switch flipped. Man, I'm about to bring the fire. I told Ashley in the car, I said, I don't plan to do that. I just get to say a prayer, and all of a sudden, we don't plan for this. We get up here just for practice, trying to figure out what we're doing, and all of a sudden, we serve an all of a sudden God. You're hanging on for dear life, but all of a sudden, my goodness, my goodness. Thank you for being here today. We love you. All right, guys, you're done. You're done, you're done. So church every week, if you can make it, make it. If you can't, go online. Yeah. Go online. Hallelujah. God is good. No, you're just not. All the time. No. Yeah, we can do that. We're done. Just give me some more volume. My goodness. Whatever you. I know that I know where God is leading us. And he's made it very clear to me, man, no, Sean, I'm good right now. When you guys aren't playing behind me, it's not that quiet. We have such an advanced board back there. Sean's running it up here on his iPad. And technology. I know where the Lord is leading me. I know where the Lord is directing this church. I'm telling you. I preached it a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if you guys were here for that, but at the beginning of creation, God put every seed and every herb and every tree and every shrub, everything that we need to be fruitful and multiply. He said, I put it in the earth, but I'm not yet causing it to rain because there's nobody to till the harvest. There's nobody to till the ground. There's nobody to manage what I've planted inside of you. And I believe that that is the case for this church, and I believe that that's the case for these people of this church. I believe when my grandfather put his shovel in the ground, my papa, I believe what was that about? When my papa put the shovel into the ground, I believe at that very moment, my God put everything into this church and into this ministry that we need to be successful, to be efficient, to go beyond these walls and make a difference in the lives of the people all across this world. And he said, but I'm not yet causing it to rain to the degree of which I want it to rain. He said, because I don't know if you guys are able to manage the harvest when it comes up. I believe that there are things inside of you guys that God has planted inside of you that you've not got to see it yet. Because, did I receive an offering? I think I did already. Please give. I'm moving on. I believe that there's stuff inside of you that you've not seen it harvest yet. It's not come up out of you yet. Because you're not to the point where God can trust you with what he wants to bring out of you. I'll say that again. There's stuff inside of you that you've not got to see it yet because you're not to a point where God can trust to rain on your harvest. I put something in you. I want you to experience my goodness. It's inside of you. You ain't got to wait. You ain't got to wait for me to bring it to you. It's already inside of you. But I'm not ready to rain on it yet because I don't know if you can handle it. And I believe that that's the case for this church. I know what God is, and listen, you don't have to be here today. I could be preaching to myself today. I preached to myself last week in my living room. I don't need you to do this. I know what God has given me. And God has been telling you need to go and manage these people and develop these people and get them to a place of management in their own lives so that I can begin to rain on their harvest. So I've literally since last June, I feel like I've had a 6-month series, and every message that I've been bringing has been about management and development, helping you, making room for the miracle, getting in a position of deliverance. Just I really want to develop you. I want to help you. And I feel like I needed to clarify that because, ironically, 2 weeks ago I was starting my series on management on our resources, on our tithe and offering. And then lo and behold, we had, as many of you know, we had our worst giving in 2 decades. And I thought, well, that's kind of crummy. And what bothered me about that is I said, but Lord, you've given me a message about management of our resources, and now I'm going to go stand up behind the pulpit on that Sunday and talk about tithing and offering. And I really hope that people don't think, I get it. I know what you're up to. Because I'll tell you this today. I told this to Adam on the phone a couple of days ago. I stood in my basement. I asked the Lord, I said, why don't people respond the way they should when it comes to their tithing and their offering? And he told me 2 things. He said, number one, they are confused. They are confused to which it belongs. They are confused on who it belongs to. Listen, a lot of people think that the tithe is yours, and then you got it all backwards. I made it clear a couple of weeks ago. He said, well, a mere man robbed me. And they said, how did we rob you? He said, you robbed me with the tithe and the offering. You can't rob God if it's yours. But the tithe belongs to him, and when you sit on the tithe, he calls you a thief. So he said, number one, Brad, they're confused on who it actually belongs to. And number 2, they're confused on who it actually benefits. I said, well, tell me more. He said, there's been times in this church, because we're such a small church and a family-oriented church, hey, honey, make sure you pay the tithe because I know Uncle Ronnie needs it. Hey, babe, make sure you pay the tithe because I know my dad needs it. Listen, no, it has nothing to do about my dad. It has nothing to do about me. If this is a church that God desires, he will find a way to keep the doors open. He will send people to sit in your pews and in your spot. Turn me down a little bit, Sean. Sit in your spot to make sure that this church operates the way that it should. God will find a way to keep these doors open. But people are confused. When you are obedient to God with your increase, with your time and your talents, God does something in your life. Amen. Now, he's such a great God and a big picture God, and that it also benefits other people around you, but it benefits you. And so in my 9 o'clock service, when I was talking to people this morning, I said, listen, I'm going to talk about tithe and offering. And there are some new people here today. And I said, I want you to understand that every word that I say, I want you to know that I'm doing it for your behalf. I'm trying to give you a cheat code. In the Bible, God has put principles in the Bible. And he says, if you follow these principles, you're going to get heaven on your side. I'm going to help you get heaven on your side. And so today we're going to talk a little bit more about the management of our resources. And next week, I cannot wait. Next week, we're going to talk about management of the Holy Spirit. Man. We're talking about how to host the Holy Ghost. That's good stuff, man. I wish I knew a couple weeks ago what I know now. God is good. God answers prayers. So a couple weeks ago, and I got to get on here. A couple weeks ago, I taught that message about position for deliverance and how God defeats our enemies when we go worship. And I believe it. I've been applying that to my life. And every time that I need an answer to something, I just go downstairs in my basement, me and my dog. I turn on some praise and worship music, and I just worship. I pray and I just worship. I raise my hand, I sing. I'm not the best of a singer. I really think if I practiced it, I would be better. But I just worship. And I say, God, while I'm worshiping, I need you to take care of this. And so I sought the face of God about how do we get to the point where you are free to move in the service, but it's not distracting. I believe he told me. I think it's good stuff. So let's talk about our management of our resources. I got to get you guys to a place where God feels comfortable to rain on your harvest. Money is a medium of exchange. That's all it is. Money is the medium of exchange. It has no identity of its own. The $20 bill that you have in front of you only becomes a $20 bill because we have put that identity on it. If the economy, if whoever says that's not worth $20 anymore, then all of a sudden it doesn't become worth $20 anymore. Money by itself has no identity of its own. It actually takes on the identity of the person who holds it. $20 to me is different than perhaps $20 to you. $10 to me may be different than $10 to you. $1,000 to me perhaps is different than $1,000 to you. And it takes on the identity of the one who holds it. The other thing about money is it's a medium of exchange. Money becomes what you want it to be. This $20 bill can become gas. It can become milk and eggs. It can become a movie ticket. It can become whatever you want it to be. Money by itself has no identity. It becomes what you want it to become. It becomes the seed for whatever you want it to become. And Ecclesiastes says money answers all things. In other words, money becomes the seed for whatever you need it to be. What do you need it to be? Do you need it to be medication? Ashley's at home sick right now. So probably on my way home, I'm going to transform money into medicine, into healing. My money is going to become a healing. Because I gave it that identity. Hey, Mr. $20 bill, you're going to become ibuprofen and Pepto-Bismol, and I'm going to buy you, I'm going to take it home, and it becomes a healing. Money answers all things. It brings, you tell it what it is. You tell it what it is. Now, I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to go over, but we'll give you a minute to clarify. I don't believe that we could buy anything from God, but I do believe we can make exchanges with God. Now, hang with me. Let me explain this. I don't believe that we could buy anything from God, but I believe, and I practice it in my life, I can make exchanges for God. Several weeks ago, I taught a message on making room for a miracle. And I shared the story about how the Shunammite woman, she said she went to her husband, and she said, listen, every time that prophet comes by, I think it was Elijah, every time this prophet comes by, I want that prophet in my house. So she said, so let's go prepare a room for him. And they go upstairs in the upper room, and they make him a bedroom. If you go back and read, they actually talk about how giving a table with a lamp. They literally prepare a room for him. And so he's so thankful for that. He's so thankful for that. He says, now listen, thank you for doing this, right? Thank you for doing this. Now, what can I do for you? She exchanged a room. And she said, listen, I want a baby. She said, I want a baby. And he said, I'll tell you what, by this time next year, you're going to have a baby. She exchanged a bedroom for a baby. She didn't buy that baby. She just responded to the prophet out of obedience, and all of a sudden he said, now what can I do for you? And she said, I'm glad you asked that. I want a baby. When I was talking about a position for deliverance, Jehoshaphat, you heard this message. I've been referring to it a lot lately. 3 vast armies were coming after him. So what he did, he said, I'm going to resolve to inquire of the Lord. So he goes and he begins to fast and he begins to pray. And he says, Lord, while I'm fasting and while I'm praying, there's 3 vast armies after me. I need you to take care of them. And the Bible says that while he was in the middle of worship, those armies turned on each other and began to kill themselves. Jehoshaphat exchanged prayer and worship and fasting for victory over his enemies. I think this again was Elisha. A woman approached him and she said, let me go get you some, I can tell that you're tired. Let me go get you something to drink. And he said, please go get me something to drink. But while you're there, can you make me some food? And she says, as the Lord is my witness, I think it was again Elisha, as the Lord is my witness, all I have is a little bit of oil and a little bit of flour. And he said, I promise you, if you will be obedient, if you do what I've asked you to do, I will make sure that your oil will not run out. So she goes and she prepares the food and the oil did not run out. She ate and he ate and her child ate. If you fast forward in the story a little bit longer, the child dies. She goes up to the prophet and says, is this what you wanted to do? Cursing me? He said, bring me that boy. Gets that boy, he lays over the boy 3 times and calls out to God and the boy comes back to life. She exchanged obedience to bring back her child. She exchanged obedience, a little bit of oil and a little bit of flour for new life in her son. I don't believe that we can buy things from God, but I believe that we can do things for God and say, Lord, I'm going to be obedient. I'm going to do what you've asked me to do. Now, here's what I need you to do. When I fast and when I pray, and in the new year, we'll start a 21-day fast. We're going to do a 21-day fast. I'm telling you, if you've never fasted, it's life-changing. But there's not a time where I fast. There's not a time where I fast where I say, now, Lord, the purpose for my fast is this. I need a healing. I need deliverance. I need insight. I need understanding. I know I can't buy those things from you, but I know that you respond to us. When we act out of faith and out of obedience, you respond to us. And so, Lord God, this is what I need in return. Money answers all things. It has no identity of its own. It becomes what we want it to be. But again, let me clarify this. But I believe that we can turn a seed in the offering, and I believe that we can turn that in and tell the Lord, listen, I'm acting out of obedience. I'm doing what you've asked me to do. I'm going to plant a seed, and I need a healing. So I'm doing this because I need a healing. I don't believe that we can buy a healing, but I believe that we can be obedient with our tithe and our offering and say, Lord, when my harvest comes back, can I know I reap what I sow? Let it be a harvest of healing. Let it be a harvest of understanding. Let it be a harvest of deliverance. I know I can't buy it, but I know I can exchange it. I know I can exchange a little bit of flour and a little bit of oil for my son to be brought back from the dead. Money has no value. Money has no identity. We tell it what it is. And so we need to say, my tithe and my offering is my healing. This is something when I begin to prepare my notes, when I begin to prepare this, I thought, you know what I'm going to do? From this moment on, as I do with my fasting and what I do with my prayer time, I'm going to begin to do this with my tithe and my offering. I'm going to tell the Lord exactly, Lord, I'm sowing this seed today. I'm giving up my tithe and my offering today. And I'm going to name my seed. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put an expectation on it. Here's the thing. Money answers to all things. Money has no identity instead of the identity that you give it. So your seed, your offering, doesn't know what it is. There's people that have been giving in the offering plate for all of their life, but they've never given their seed any identity. It doesn't know what it is. What are you exchanging this for? When I go to the grocery store, my money, my $20 bill instantly becomes milk, egg, and cheese, whatever, because I've told it what it's going to be. It's going to become milk. It's going to become gas. It's going to become medicine. I've told it what it's going to be. But for 50 years, 20 years, 5 months, people have been putting money in the offering plate, and they've never put any expectations on it. They've never given it a name. It doesn't know what it is. If you ever do a budget, I'm a big Dave Ramsey guy, and you know this. Dave Ramsey says you give every dollar a name. When you get a $1,000 paycheck, whatever, you break that down and you say $10 goes over here, $50 goes over here, $100 goes over here, and you begin to give every dollar a name, all the way down to a zero balance. This is savings. This is my play money. You begin to give every dollar a name because that dollar doesn't